Did this before she went to work.
What?
Sarah, craft services.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Every time we do this, it gets a little better. So, like in our 50th episode, we're going to, it's going to be off the chain. Yeah.
Yep.
I have
That's
an
where I went to
Auburn
school.
yearbook here.
A DeMatha and a Bel Air.
I don't have a yearbook because I technically wasn't in the school.
You were so.
I wasn't in the. They didn't take. I wasn't there when they took pictures.
Oh, true.
Is that real?
Yeah.
And this year, everybody's just like Jason.
The year everyone was
The
Jason.
year
That could be a
everyone
movie.
was just like Jason. It's like a horror movie.
I wouldn't watch that movie.
There's no chance this baby just sits here quiet the whole time.
I was going to say we better get going.
That's showbiz.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Middle Aging Podcast. This is episode 11.
Won't say.
That's
in
right.
Espanol.
Good
Yes,
job.
11. Oh,
Renata.
bilingual. I didn't know
Bilingual.
that.
This is an audio-only podcast.
Yes.
Jason's having some hair problems.
No, that's not the reason.
No, not hair problems. Sorry.
God.
We got a full studio today. We got two special guests
We have two
and a
special
baby.
guests. And a baby. That's why we're not showing
Grayson.
video, everyone. We don't want our child broadcast to
the
foreign
world.
countries. Yeah, it's my wife's fault.
Remember, you have to pick up the mic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my fault.
Well, my wife is one of the guests. And we
Yes.
also have another guest.
Who is it?
It's you.
What? Me?
Laura. And see, I didn't say the last name. I'm getting better. Normally, I would say the full name, and you'd have to.
Oh, right. Good
See?
job.
I'm
Good job.
improving. Laura and Ashley.
Have we
Hello,
ever
Laura and
had two
Ashley.
guests?
No.
The
Well, we had the
family one.
family.
Not like
That
this.
was like
That's-
6 guests.
That's something
yeah.
else.
So welcome. What's
Okay.
that? How you doing?
They're sharing a mic, so I think
We're
they're going to
sharing a
get
mic.
used to that. Yeah.
You should talk about why are we here?
Okay.
Yes.
We're
Just
going to
go-
get to that.
go
So,
right
Go right into
well,
it.
first off, before we do that, how are you, Michelle?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm
It's
good.
been a couple weeks.
It
Yeah,
has
it's
been a
a few.
couple weeks.
I mean, we've seen each other.
Well, because we're family, so we have seen each other.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. All right, moving
Yeah,
on.
I mean, yeah.
So our guests today, I thought we'd kind of have a little more of an adult conversation. Not that our other conversations haven't been adult, but to kind of talk about a very specific subject. And one of the reasons why Ashley and Laura are here is because they both share something which I thought was kind of interesting.
They
that
both committed murder.
They both are murderers. No, they are both second wives, which is a kind of an ugly term. I think it has a very negative connotation.
But a good movie. Oh, no,
Okay.
that was first.
Well,
That's
the
wife?
first wife's
wife.
usually the
Yeah.
warm-up
Like
wife.
it could be directed
starter
by
wife.
Nancy
Yeah.
Myers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are both second wives. So I guess first, why don't we ask Laura? So Laura, hi, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. So how long have you been married to your husband for?
This November will be 24 years.
24
Very
years.
nice.
And how did you meet him?
We were in the Army together. We were
Okay.
both students at the Defense Language Institute,
Okay.
which oddly enough is talked about as the Defense Love Institute.
Okay.
Because a lot of people that go there are single soldiers, and if you get married, you get to live off post and live like normal people.
Okay.
That is not what happened with us.
Okay.
But that is where we met.
All right.
Okay.
And how long did you guys? Was he married when you met him?
No.
He's already divorced. Okay.
Yes.
Jeez.
So
Now, how
several-
long,
kind of a
how
woman
long
do
was
you
he
think she
married the
is?
first time?
I think he was married
Roughly.
about 5 years.
So you beat it. You beat it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crushed
Okay.
it.
yeah.
Glad that.
Yeah,
Glad
yeah.
to hear that.
Good for me.
And did he have a child with the first marriage?
He did.
He did.
Okay.
Yes. So she was, I believe, 7 or 8 when we started dating.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you guys date before you got married?
Well, we dated about 6 months or so at that point,
Okay.
and then we broke up
Okay.
catastrophically.
Oh.
Yeah, like don't call me.
That was you to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he started breaking up with me first,
And then you had to beat him.
and then I got real ugly about it
Got it.
because it was like on day 3 of our vacation together, and he had clearly planned on breaking up with me.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was ugly. And David, if you're listening, I'm never going to forget.
Yep. Obviously not.
Clearly.
Obviously
Clearly.
not. So yeah, and then don't call me. And then 3 years later, he went to Hawaii. I went to Korea. Then I was back in Washington State, and then he moved to Washington State from Hawaii. And then we got back together, and then we dated 6 months. Then I moved in with him, and we got married 6 months after that. So,
Okay, so not too long.
so about a year, really,
Very nice.
the second time.
Okay.
Is there a large age difference?
Yes.
How much older is he than you? I'm assuming
Yes.
he's older.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
12 and a half years.
Oh,
Yeah. So
there you go.
considerable, but
Yeah.
not icky.
Not icky, yeah. Like
We have a
creepy.
trend on this podcast.
Right?
Yeah,
The
we only
last
invite guests
that are married to older men.
Yeah.
Right, because Katie was too,
Katie,
right?
what?
And my friend
14.
Jamie.
And she
That's
was how
right.
old? 15?
15 years. Yeah, because he was married. We were talking about this because she is a second wife as well.
Yeah.
I feel like though you get to a certain point in life and it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Unless
probably
you're
true.
like 18 and 35.
Like the age difference.
Well, because I feel like if you're in your 20s and the person's in their 30s, that's really not much of a difference.
I think it does matter though,
Oh.
because you wouldn't date a younger guy.
Actually,
I
I'm going to stop you right there. Before me,
I think
am I right in assuming that you usually dated younger men?
that might be accurate.
So let me ask you.
But it
okay.
was like
So you
3 years.
you should have ended up
younger.
with me instead of Jason.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.
Mike.
I thought you called him Mike.
Hey, Mike.
But that kind of leads into a great subject because what was it? I'm sorry. Do you have any questions, Michelle? Trying to give you
Wow.
No, no, you can go.
You
Keep
good?
going.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'll let you know if I got
Thank
a question.
you. We'll let you know. What? So why? Okay, take me out of it. Let's say because obviously I'm your husband.
Because we all know about Jason's first wife, so we don't have to go into
Actually,
that.
Laura knows about her too.
Have we talked about
we
her
could go
on this
back
podcast?
and talk about that some more. It's
Okay.
a fun
So
topic.
you knew her, yes.
Sort of.
Okay,
And so did I.
enough,
Sort of.
enough to know.
Enough. She was
Enough to know.
infamous.
Yep.
She was infamous. So I guess a good question is, did the age difference? You say that it didn't matter, but my question is, was it more? Did you find it more attractive that they were older? Did that have anything to do? And same with Laura as well. Did that have anything to do with your attraction to the man? Me.
Or was it more maturity level?
Yeah. Was that?
I
that's
was
not true.
obviously
Not
way more mature.
You will
than
always be more mature.
Well, I'm saying, imagine if he was the same age as you. It'd be like
be like a
dating
12-year-old.
Grayson.
All right.
Oh,
I wouldn't say that played into attraction. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Like my age.
Yeah.
Did it play an attraction for you? Like, was that fact that he was older, was it like more attractive to you?
I would say yes.
Really?
Yeah, because when we first started dating, I was 23.
Okay.
So he was 34
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
And I love men, don't get me wrong, but most
Yeah.
of the guys my age were so stupid.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't,
Couldn't even hold a conversation.
Yeah, so they were great friends, but like,
Right.
no.
Fun to
So-
look at. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And goof around with,
Right.
but not to
Goof
be in
around
it.
with.
Well, no, I mean my army friends
Right.
were
Goof.
great.
You meant literal goof.
Yes, and yes, they were nice to look at,
Right.
but
Not like sexual goof.
Oh,
yes,
right.
not
No,
no.
what
You're such a
Yeah.
guy, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
case
Here
in
we
point.
are.
Case in point.
I will say that there's something. I'm sorry. This is throwing me off a little bit. I got to take these off.
Okay.
I think that there was something about younger, regardless of how much younger they were. Sorry, no offense, Christopher. That guys at that time in life, a couple years ago at least for me, would be like I like you, but like they're like flaky, just flaky all the time.
Okay.
It's annoying. So I think
Okay.
that maybe that about age, that was not something you were. You were not flaky. You
Jason
followed
wanted someone to love
through.
him.
you like said you do something or be somewhere and you would always show up. And I think that was it. And it still is very attractive.
Reliable.
Okay.
Isn't that so funny though?
Reliable. Yeah.
That it's so funny because you've said that before to me, and maybe you'll agree with it, Laura. But like how something like that trumps all the other superficial reasons. Like, you know, you always hear about like sense of humor or like he was like dependable or something like that. It just, a relationship can really be boiled down to those simple things. Like if you can't laugh with your partner,
That's a
that
make
really,
or break, I think.
Well,
when
right,
you
that
get
really
to
trumps
get
it.
to the nitty gritty.
The fact that you say something and follow through on it is what did it for you.
Well, but I also think if you like love someone enough, you're going to do those things regardless of where you are in life.
That's true.
If you don't do those things, I'd be like, you're not really in it.
Okay.
On to wife number 3.
Oh, Lord.
Never. No.
So this is a question for both of you. Did it ever give you pause that you were going to be a second wife? Was that ever like, because the first marriage didn't work out, was it ever like sort of like, uh-oh?
So it probably gave my mom pause.
Yeah.
Because she was the second wife and not the final wife.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad never got it right.
Got it.
Well, he got it real close on the last one.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. In
Love
the
you,
ballpark.
Leanna.
In
You
the
were the
ballpark.
best one
Yeah,
for him.
Yeah, right.
Totally true. No. And I'll say this. So I have a joke with friends of mine, and this was before I even got married, that the ex-girlfriend, the ex-wife is always, quote, crazy. Like, that's the story. There's not a man on the planet that has said, oh, my ex-wife was great. It was me. They all say, oh, she was crazy. Now, in someone's case at this table, it's true. But
Legit.
legit. But I don't think that's universally true. Now, I have met David's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, because
There's a shared
They
child.
share a child,
right.
right.
And she has been pleasant to me, mostly.
Yeah.
There have been incidents,
Okay.
which we can or may not go into. If
Okay.
you want to, it's up to you.
Okay.
Physical altercations?
Oh, no. Because I'm considerably younger than she is.
Okay.
I would win.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But
All right.
true
That's
story.
nice, yeah.
No, she's manipulative.
Okay.
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 Where I would be like, this is how I feel. She'd be like, and then
Twist it, yeah.
twist it very badly. But so I never had concerns about that. And there was one incident right before we got married when David went down to see them, stayed there. It was Christine's, I think, middle school or high school graduation.
Okay.
And he came back and he said, oh, well, I have to tell you something. And the ex-wife put a note in his luggage.
Oh.
Yeah. And basically,
Oh, that is manipulative.
we were engaged.
Was it like an offer?
Yes.
Aha.
Yes, it was.
Got it.
And he said, you should probably see this. Which,
That's wonderful.
well,
That's
right.
very
So it
honest.
was kind of one of those, all right. So, and he's like, gave
Yeah.
me the whole look like, well, clearly that's never going to happen. I'm like, you're damn right.
Yeah,
it's not gonna
exactly. Yeah.
happen. So no, I didn't have any concerns about being wife number 2.
What
How
about
about-
you, Ash?
Ash, what about you?
So obviously,
Well, you told her about the note she sent you, right?
in that case,
The note that
the
said,
first,
I'm going to eat your soul. That was the note.
in Laura's
Give
case,
me more DVDs.
Yeah.
that's what she feeds on.
Yeah, that's what she
But in
feeds on.
Laura's case, the first wife is still present. Obviously, there's a shared child. With yours, that's not the case. But did you ever have pause about being the second wife?
I don't think so, but I think I didn't because she doesn't live anywhere close by.
Yeah.
And I mean, you knew her, and you knew kind of the situation. I mean, I feel like
Yeah, I think that
Did you know that, like, when we first started, like, talking, did you know, like, how did you know that I was no longer married? Like, when did you find that out?
I
Was
I thought
it
it
when
just
you
went
came
through like
to
the theater
see the
scene in
9 or
Annapolis.
whatever?
No,
Yeah. think I found out through someone who
I would tell people on the
tells a
streets.
lot of rumors.
Someone that tells a lot of rumors.
Yes.
Oh.
Michelle.
is this a person?
Yeah,
was
this
me.
is a person.
Oh, okay.
Michelle was running around
Yeah,
Annapolis
yeah, yeah.
screaming it.
All right. Got
I
it.
was a town crier.
Yeah. Because I think at that point I knew you because you directed me in a show.
Right.
You were married.
I was.
I knew Allie then.
Correct. Because she didn't get into the show, but go on.
I was at auditions with her.
You were, yeah.
I got called back with her.
You did?
Didn't see her ever again. That was
Right.
it.
Yep.
But I don't think that I mean, my parents were divorced. So I think part of me was like, okay, you know, it didn't work out. Like things don't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes relationships don't work out. I had a pretty serious relationship that didn't work out
Right.
before you.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, I didn't really even think to myself like he was like married before. I just thought to myself it was a relationship that didn't work out.
Now, just to kind of get a little more serious, just to kind of bounce off of that, do you have a very little fear of her, since she doesn't live here, of her reappearing again?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
well, I
not
have something
because
to say.
go
Like
ahead.
a ghost.
Why? What are you afraid of?
Not because I mean, go ahead. She wants to take you back. I welcome that situation.
You won't let me go?
No.
Oh.
Because
Oh,
I know
like,
that
yeah.
that would be just asinine.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
She's
Like a
got
note,
dirty
yeah.
blood, so we can take care of her.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay,
Jesus Christ.
She
go
does.
ahead, come back.
She had dengue fever.
She's a mudblood.
She did.
mudblood.
But I
true.
just
That's
like it's like a fear because I just don't want to deal with it. And
Yeah.
my fear is that she's so wackadoo that at some point in her like the development of her stupid brain, she's gonna come back.
Okay.
That would be very ambitious. It'd be very
Yeah,
ambitious.
go
That's
ahead.
a lot more work than she
Yeah.
usually puts into things.
There you go.
Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
so funny if she listens to this every week?
I would be shocked.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I would be shocked.
If she does, if she comes back, she's probably coming after me.
Yeah, she's going after you. Okay. All right. So, go ahead. What?
Well, I have a question.
Go, Michelle. Go.
Because Jamie, who I work with, she's a second wife, and she brought up something. So I didn't know if this was something that other second wives felt. But she said she never wants to go on a vacation that her husband took with the first wife. Or go to like the same places, because it's like, I don't need you. Is that ever something you worried about?
No.
Okay.
We didn't live in California, which is where they lived for a good amount of time. I don't know. I think they were apart long enough, and it wasn't like they had a marriage and they just drifted apart and blah, blah, blah. It was, I mean, I heard the stories, which you have to believe about 80%, right? Because perception. No, I'm an all in or all out kind of girl. So it was like, there was part of me that didn't think I was going to get married ever because I knew what I wanted. And it was like, well, that's probably
Can't
not
really
gonna
find
happen.
that, yeah.
No.
I hear you.
You're right. Yeah. You should probably date someone older. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm,
Like 60s.
well,
I'll take all
I'm
his money.
active 60.
An active 60.
An active
Don't worry,
60.
Dad. I'll give you some money.
But my feeling was always like, we're in it, you're in it, I'm in it, we're in this together. And so if you're not in it, then no matter where we go, that's not what it's going to be.
Got it.
And so, and if somebody's mind ever changed, I'd be like, bye.
Yeah.
Like if you don't see my value, then
Yeah, I got to go.
bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you similar
Okay.
to that?
What
Ash?
about you?
I think for vacations, no. I mean, I know we've talked a lot about creating new memories in certain places
Correct.
that were
Yeah.
visited.
That's true.
They only vacation in one place.
Yeah. But we're
Right.
No, not necessarily in one place.
Well, no one's
with
going
one
to New
company.
Mexico.
You just went to Disney over
Well,
and
I had
over.
stock in Disney, but go ahead.
Yeah,
What does
see,
that
I
mean?
that's
I
like
got
a little weird.
discounts.
But I would
Get
want
a
to bring
stock.
Grace. Like I want to
No,
go
I
with you
didn't.
and bring Grace
Yeah.
into Disney.
But
So
that'll
I
be
think
different.
That's,
Yeah.
I think the hardest part of like is that we live in the same place that you and her lived. So when we first started dating,
Yeah.
people associated you with her. So there was a lot of like, oh, hey, Jason and Allie. And I'd be like, oh, no. Like,
now, how many? It was like give me the timeline. I know I was there. I know you were living with me. But
So it was a year until
after the first implosion, not after the divorce.
no, I was
It was like
divorced.
6 months
I was
after
divorced
your
6 months before
Okay.
it ended.
So like it was
Before-
September that it all happened.
Yeah.
And then the following September
Is when
you
we
started
met.
dating.
When
Okay.
we met again. Yeah.
I think though that
He's holding up. He's chewing on the wires, Chris. I just FYI.
I think that the small amount of time in between the implosion and when we got together shows that you maybe didn't love her as much as you thought you did.
Agreed. Interesting.
So Jason and my friendship
Yeah.
really took
We
off.
were friends before that,
We
but
were- well,
not as close. Yeah.
No, because no one was allowed to be very
Right.
close to you,
That's
Jason,
right.
before.
That's right. She's not wrong.
It's true. So Jason and our friend Shannon and Eric, the four of us were
We're in a
kind of like
show.
a little
Yeah, little click.
little click, and we did a show, and we basically helped Jason drink through
Yes.
his recovery from his marriage
Definitely.
breakup.
Definitely.
And it's funny; it seemed much longer
Right.
than
I know.
that.
It's so funny.
It seemed a lot longer.
Because a lot happened at like it wasn't like you even said it, Laura, like when you said like your divorce wasn't even like a normal divorce. Like it wasn't a normal, like, marriage grows apart, you go to counseling, you decide that it's not working, you fight over stuff, you let stuff go, and then eventually the marriage ends, you move on, you don't move on, you find a way to coexist. That's not what happened. On a Tuesday, she left. By Sunday, everything was gone. Like,
it wasn't like you got diabetes and
Nope.
you lost your toe
Correct.
and your other toes and your foot and your ankle. No, someone came in with like a chainsaw and hacked off your leg.
Bank accounts,
Yes,
credit
all
cards, stuff I owned, marriage, apartment, gone.
Do you
in, like,
remember that day when we were sitting in the parking lot of the bank?
Yeah.
Because you went to close it and you found out, and we were, me, mom, and dad, and Caitlin.
Yeah.
We were like, no.
Yeah.
Really?
It was like a
No.
rapid. I was getting alerts on my phone and stuff that things were just being closed, and it's horrifying.
Don't you feel like now in hindsight that was a blessing?
Oh God, yes, I do.
Not
think it
not
was a
even
blessing.
just the like end of a marriage, but like the fact that everything was just like bam, bam, bam. Because
Yeah.
I think if you have a child,
Yeah, you can't.
it
do that.
cannot
That's
be
true.
that
It
way.
can't. Well, in the state of Maryland, it legally can't. You have to be separated for a year.
And we've spoken about that before, how within that marriage, he was not the Jason he was before or after. Like I lived close to him. I hardly saw him.
Right.
And if it was something that dragged out, it would have probably been even harder because
Right.
I like to speak my mind. And I feel like
Do you?
he was almost blind to that. Like,
Yeah.
even after it happened, you was still kind of like, because we got into that one giant fight. You remember?
I do.
Because I said something negative about the person who
Well, yeah.
took everything.
Right.
And we started screaming, and I told you to get the fuck
Well,
out.
I wasn't.
Mom was
That
very
wasn't.
upset.
Well, and I also think, what's the word? Like your marriage becomes part of your identity. So, and obviously you trust them. So even if like deep down this isn't where I'm 100% happy or this isn't where I want to be, you still care about the person. They're part of who you are. So you really can't picture them doing things to hurt you or to hurt other people. And when they do, it's almost like it's a reflection on you. So
But you didn't think you weren't happy. We've said that before, right?
no, but the fact of the matter is that was like weeks. So I was still traumatized.
Yeah.
Like I was
No,
still
yeah.
going. So every time you insulted her, you were insulting me.
I
You
mean,
didn't mean to do it. Like that's not what you thought you were
Yeah.
doing. But like every time people would like say bad things about her, it hurt me.
I see that. But you
And
have
it
to take
wasn't-
it from the side of the people who, whose couch you're, like.
Well,
you
it
just,
wasn't really Yes,
but what I'm saying is
I know,
you-
but I wasn't caring about anyone else.
No, I know. I know.
Time. I mean, but yes, you're right. You have a good point.
I think this is interesting though, because I think as a second wife, which I'm curious what you think, Laura, it's not just that your significant other or whatever was married before, it's that their family
Oh God, yeah.
is also getting over it too, in some sense. Not in like maybe even an emotional, like I don't think anyone missed her.
No, I think my parents were. I don't.
Sorry, no.
I don't think my
No,
siblings.
she left it out pretty well.
I don't
Yeah.
think my siblings necessarily missed her. My parents. It's not so much that they like my father cared about her. My mother cared about her. She might not have liked her,
Yeah.
and it
I
was
think you
shocking
care
that
about
she didn't
someone.
even say goodbye.
You don't miss anyone ill will,
No.
Right.
but I think, well, maybe.
Did you find it hard then coming in out to the family?
Yes, but it might have been self-inflicted.
Okay.
Like I don't know necessarily that you all. I didn't feel like people didn't like me because I, we decided to date so quickly. Necessarily, but that was a concern of mine, and I was conscious of it.
That's interesting. Sorry, I pointed to the mic. Laura?
Yes.
So she just said coming into the marriage, you're Jason's or whoever's second wife.
Mm-hmm.
Did people kind of look at you like, I hope it lasts? Like what? Like what?
Or like with his family?
Second time's a charm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so David is one of 4 boys.
Okay.
He's the oldest. Number 2 was remarried, and he had 2 children with his first wife.
Okay.
And that ended catastrophically as well.
Okay.
Not good. Then the 3rd son is still married to his first wife.
Okay.
And 4th never married.
Okay.
So the first time I met David's mom, we were living together, not yet engaged. Mom was in Oregon on a week-long Catholic silent meditative retreat. Okay. Like you spend a
That's
week
intense.
with monks, not
Wow.
talking
Wow.
and thinking about your life, I guess. And then she was going to come see us. I'm like, your mom's going to hate me. And he's like, why do you think my mom's going to hate you? I'm like, she's communing with God for a week without talking, and then she's going to come visit me, who's living with her son in sin. She's going to hate me.
And not a monk.
And not a monk. And he laughed and thought that was hilarious. And it ended up being really hilarious because I knew I was good with Mom when she came to visit. It was day 2, and we were driving down to some place she wanted to go see, and she was in the back seat and I was driving, and I wasn't feeling well, and I drink hot coffee out of a straw in my to-go cup
Right.
because I will spill on myself otherwise.
Right.
So we're driving.
It's also better for your teeth.
Also better for your teeth. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
True.
Yep.
So we're driving, and I'm drinking coffee out of a straw. David's next to me, and he goes, how do you drink coffee out of a straw? Which was not the first time he has asked me that question. And I was irritated, and I looked at him, and I said, I put my lips on it, and I suck. And there's this pause, because I forgot
That she was there,
future
yeah.
mother-in-law was maybe in the back seat. And there's this pause, and she started giggling and then laughing, and then she's patting me on my shoulder like, atta girl, you tell him. And I was like, okay, we're going to be fine.
we're gonna
We're going to
get
be fine.
along. Yeah.
Because she was actually happy to have someone who just pushed him
Yeah.
back.
Held him accountable.
And I was very apparently different than wife number 1. I wasn't like flirty cutesy and trying to be something.
Interesting.
I was just me, and luckily they liked it.
They liked who you were.
Yeah.
But I feel like that happens a lot with wife's number 2. They're usually very different.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
obviously,
hopefully.
Well,
yeah.
hopefully, because you don't want to marry the same person.
And sometimes they put on their eyeliner better.
Oh, there you go.
Had to take one shot.
Oh,
Had to take one
Ashley,
shot.
ladies
wait!
and
I think
gentlemen.
Grayson wants to say something.
My son
What do
is
you
trying
wanna
to
say?
grab the mic.
Say yeah.
Yeah, I'm covered in drool now.
Oh, sorry about that. Laura drools. So,
Your son did just do something that made me feel very uncomfortable.
what did he do?
So I gave him a big Yoda
Yeah.
down there, and he He put his whole ear in his mouth.
Oh my god.
The whole thing.
Wow.
And
Well.
was staring at me while he did it.
Oh.
Grayson.
Look what I can do.
Well, well, he's like his mom.
Oh, there it is. That was such a softball. If you would have missed that, I would have been upset.
Good night, folks. Ba-da-ba.
Cover your ears, Grayson.
All right. Well, that's
He doesn't
really
have to
interesting.
cover them. He just sticks them in his mouth.
That's true.
Do you like the term second wife?
So, no.
Oh,
The
they're looking
best
at each
wife. Finally got it right, wife.
Yeah.
Runner up.
No,
Oh, sorry.
no.
The silver
But
medalist.
here's what I will say, because there is a daughter from a previous marriage, and we didn't tell each other this for a while, but as we got to be older, we both said, I hate that whole step thing.
Yeah.
So my daughter calls it bonus. Like I'm her bonus mom and she is my bonus
Oh,
daughter.
that's great.
And it is great because we have a great like she is such a value added for
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
Now I will say we had it easy because when we got married, like we never lived in the same state.
Right.
There was never shared custody.
Right,
I
right,
never
right,
had
right.
to act like her mom.
Right.
I'm kind of midway age-wise between her dad and her.
Right.
So I
Like a
actually
sisterly-
act as a bridge
Yeah.
between them sometimes. And it's been great. I mean, we have our own relationship regardless of David. And
Nice.
and she's awesome. You guys would love her.
Oh, we should have her on. What about you,
that's
Ash?
good.
Do you like the term second wife?
I don't.
You don't.
What do you want us to? Well, we don't ever.
Just wife
call
is
it
Yeah, I mean, we don't
fine.
even
Bonus.
think of that anymore.
Yeah,
No, we have to think of something.
No.
I think I don't know. I guess it's again, I think it's that like self-inflicted
wife.
being like super self-conscious of it. Like at first it's kind of like, okay, I know, I get it. Like you were married.
Right.
Okay, enough. Like we're in this relationship, like there's no second wife, there's no
Correct.
this, there's no that.
I agree.
I think that when we were getting married, there were things that made me feel like I was a second wife.
What were they?
Okay.
In
Was
a
it from
sense,
Michelle?
Oh, this
no,
is yeah.
What?
no,
That's what I thought.
it
as well.
wasn't.
I didn't recognize that
I
first marriage
think-
as a real
I
marriage.
think if
Real wedding.
I think
They're
if
fake flowers.
certain people weren't coming to the wedding or that type of thing, in my
Oh.
mind, I was like, is it because he was already
Jason
married?
was already married. Interesting.
But they didn't go to that wedding either.
They didn't go to that one either.
Probably not. Yeah.
But I think that's a fair.
But it wasn't, again, it wasn't anything, like no one ever outwardly said,
Right.
oh, it's because you're,
Right.
this is your second wedding. But I think that falls under that term.
Yeah.
I think the only problem we had is how he decided to date someone who had very similar names and the
Yeah.
same initials.
Yeah.
Because even every once in a while to this day, my mom will say, Jason and Ashley.
Yeah.
'Cause it's-
I've only done it twice.
They're so close to each other. I was
Jason,
wasn't
I've
it
done
here?
it twice.
Maybe.
I've only done it twice, and one time we
Oh,
were
no,
moving.
the old
One
apartment.
time, was it here? Though?
No, I think their
No.
other apartment
No.
where Katie and Chris lived together.
No.
Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. There were two
I thought it
separate
was my
times.
Oh no, my
Parents.
parents
We
coming
were
out of the
we're
bedroom.
moving something out of the bedroom.
The old condo.
Yeah.
Yes.
It happened,
Yeah.
and I remember being like,
We were all like, oh.
I'd never did that before.
my like heart was beating. That was like the first time you ever did it. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill him.
You handled it
But
well,
it's
though.
such a easy
He
mistake.
didn't
It
do
is
it
an
on
easy
purpose. He was
mistake.
just thinking about her.
No.
No, but that's what I
That's
mean.
not right.
Ashley,
See, I welcome that type of stuff. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
because Ashley and Allie, they're very.
Yeah. Geez, how
Same.
much more similar could you get without being named Allie?
Yeah, I thought it was funny when you were talking about meeting us for the first time. Like, what we thought about you, because, I mean,
Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't think because you had dated someone previous to her that was just kind of a
Oh.
fling, so I didn't know how serious it was.
Well, that's
Right.
true.
That's
I just
true. I didn't know how serious it was. I don't think Ashley knew either. I mean, when we first started dating, you didn't think this was going to be what it became, did you?
No.
Yeah.
But I wasn't gonna date you if it wasn't gonna mean anything.
Right.
So we were just in the very beginning stages. But I will say, I'll never forget going to the restaurant for the first time. And I specifically felt like
Joe's
Caitlin definitely would not like me
Like from that dinner.
That tracks.
from that dinner.
Interesting.
Because she seemed like she was like, yeah, nah.
Really?
See, isn't that funny? Because people say that about me, but I think I was a joy.
At that dinner you were.
Oh.
just that. Just
I
that.
just
It
wanted
was
him out of my
just
house.
Your brother, who shall not be named,
Yes.
was going somewhere
Right.
for an extended
Right.
period of
Right,
time.
right.
Yes.
And everyone gave me a hug afterwards, like saying goodbye. And I was like, oh, this is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is such an important moment for them. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and
yeah, you
here
really
I
kind of
am.
barged in on us.
Yeah,
For
it was
dessert.
like,
You intruded.
but like the restaurant was empty and I had to walk in by myself.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
actually the worst idea on your part.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Jason's
Lord.
fault. He said,
Yeah.
At any
Good job,
rate.
Jay.
He was
But-
just excited. He
But
was
I
excited.
think and now it's funny because I feel close with everyone and I don't feel like Caitlin would judge me like that, but I was like, she's not going to like me.
she does give that off.
I mean, she does judge, but
Well, it is funny though, because kind of going off what Laura said, is it seems like it's been much longer. Like when I think about, and that's what's funny. Like if we think about it, Ash, we've been together. We've been together. You know, it seems like to anyone on the outside, it would seem like me and Ashley did things very, very quickly. We dated for a year. We were engaged for a year. We got married for a year. And then we bought a house and had a child a year later. And it was a succession of events. But for us, and perhaps for other people, it doesn't seem that reckless or quick or...
Well, and I'll say that's how they used to do it back in the day.
Right.
I mean,
We're
this whole
Puritans.
dating for 5 years garbage.
Right,
is
right.
and I mean,
new.
Yeah.
you're older and
And
that's
That's what I
Exactly.
want. Yeah.
you're not, you weren't.
You're not
young,
22.
You know.
No,
yeah.
she
right.
wasn't 20.
Your son
So I
just
feel
did a
like you
flip
knew
on the
what
ground.
you wanted.
No, and that's the thing. But it's funny if you actually sit and think about it, because we actually haven't been together. We're going to celebrate 2 years of marriage.
Well, you've only been together like 3-4 months longer than Sarah and I,
yeah.
and we're just getting married in January.
Well, but you're younger.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not judging you.
I don't feel judged.
We're judging you, Chris. No.
Yeah.
You can
Exactly.
judge away.
No.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, I feel like to each their own.
Right.
Yeah. You're right.
That
In your own
I think
time.
it depends on the people because you can never like sometimes people get married a little quickly and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
should you be doing that?" And people could have easily said that about us, but I
Right.
don't feel like it was fast for us.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just think that's what we knew we wanted to do. The
It never
end.
felt wrong.
Okay.
No.
I like
I
that.
agree. It still doesn't. Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
God.
good.
And it was never questioned.
No, I don't think we ever said that. I think it was like, oh, that was quick, but never like.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
the brunch.
Well- Never
where
like-
I was like, whoa.
What
Okay.
brunch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you told us.
Well, it's funny when I told them. Laura will get a kick out of this. When me and Ashley told, there was a brunch that was planned, that wasn't planned for us. It was already going to be planned, but we just thought we'd tell everyone at the brunch. My parents knew that we were going to get married, and did you arrive first? So Michelle arose.
She came back from the dead.
It was Easter Sunday.
Sorry,
was
arrived
with Jesus.
first, and we told her, and Michelle was like, like she looked at Ashley's hand like to make sure it was real, but then I believe Chris and our sister and Chris's girlfriend Sarah and Katie's friend
Oh.
A friend at
friend.
the time.
Peggy.
Future.
all came and sat down.
Oh, it wasn't Kevin?
No.
No, he wasn't there.
And when we told you guys, all four of you at the same time looked at my father. It was like the oddest thing. They all just looked at
Is
him
this
like,
real?
are you all right with this? Like, if you're
Do we have
all right,
permission
we'll
to
be all right.
celebrate?
He's
Yeah.
our beacon in the night. Everyone is looking
Yeah,
at him.
he's the go ahead. He's the reason. So it was now here's a question. So you're married to someone who's creative, Ashley, because that's me. Laura,
Who am I
you're
married to?
not. Does that frustrate you sometimes?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So I will say this. For the most part, he is very accommodating.
I know him. He's a
about
lovely
it.
man.
Yes.
He's always been very kind.
But, you know,
Yeah.
he
Because
doesn't.
you're very practically creative. Like
What
you're
does that
kind of like
mean?
a good balance. Like you're definitely creative because you're an actress,
Right.
but you're also not like.
A flake.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Psycho.
You're like a mini wheat. You're not a flake.
In need of constant attention. Yeah. No. And I think he does appreciate what I do
Definitely.
and how happy it makes me. And I'll tell you that
And he's supportive.
he is supportive.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Because my work also is super busy. So I've been
You just got done
non-existent.
doing a show.
I just got done doing a show, and work has been busy on top of it. So it's basically like, hi, bye.
See ya, bye.
You got it, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Which if it was flipped, I can imagine getting
And he's
irritated.
retired. He's retired.
He is
now.
retired, so you know
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
my wife now.
Yeah, he's your wife.
But it is frustrating sometimes because he gets it to a degree, but he doesn't get it all the way.
Got it.
And like if you two wanted to do stuff back and forth, you know, obviously with
the
childcare,
child, yeah.
you guys would probably be down for it. I
Probably.
mean, as long as everything was balanced at home. Whereas, like, if I do anything more than like one thing in a year, it's like, ugh, really?
Another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Ashley, do you ever feel, because you're both creative, and obviously that was Jason's first wife as well, do you ever feel competition? I mean, she wasn't good at it, but she was
She could
in it.
She had a good voice.
I
She
could
sing
sing
high
too. Yeah.
and loud.
She was soprano.
If I screamed, I would be singing too. But anyway,
Okay.
I don't
do you
know
ever
about
feel any competition?
I love you, Michelle.
Thank you.
She wasn't
any
in a movie.
competition
She
with
wasn't in a
Jason
movie.
in terms of like
Wait a minute. Before we answer that
think
question,
yes.
Competition. You're in competition with me?
no, I'm saying because you're both creative, and so is it ever like
Oh.
like you think you being in stuff is more important than her, vice versa, anything
here
like
we
that?
go.
Let's talk
Because
about
obviously
the
this is out
situation.
now.
We've opened a can
Ashley
here.
was in a movie. Jason was not.
I will say first to that, it's easier for men in like theater industry than it is for women. So that's not your fault. That's not my fault. That's just how it is.
Right.
So I think that that's like the first thing. But there was a situation where Jason and I auditioned for a show to be opposite each other, and Jason was cast and I was not.
Okay.
And that was a problem.
And what happened?
Jason said that he would not be in it if I wasn't going to be cast in it. And so he removed himself, and I obviously was not in it. And it ended up working out for the best because the two people that were in it
Were better. They were better.
But that I think was like I don't have a desire to do that ever again. To
Okay.
like be in that situation ever
To
again.
audition for a show together.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
What about Beauty and the
Oh, yeah.
Beast?
That's
Oh, yeah.
But Ashley's number one in that
Yeah,
one.
She is.
She's in the
Beauty,
title.
top billing.
Jason's not get away.
It's
from
not
my
Beauty and the
tribute.
Beast and Gaston.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I didn't audition
put it-
for it.
Yes.
What's
Made
this
an
chaos?
entrance.
Just
Gaston.
cats on the table.
Well, there's no video, so we can just go
That's
crazy.
true.
babies eating wires.
I'm drenched over here. I got a baby.
Hey, Figgy, get it. No.
Wow, whoever's listening to this episode, this is a doozy. It's
really
Laura.
too bad it's
I
not
blame
being
Laura.
recorded.
It's Laura.
It's
Yeah,
all me.
It's all
my
Laura. Sorry, there's a cat that's trying to getting
Aggress
all
Michelle.
naughty with Michelle's mic. Wow, I could really say a lot of horrible things with
Yeah,
that cat,
don't
but
say
I'm
that.
not saying it.
Oh.
Which shows how much I've grown. What were we talking about? Oh,
So many things.
Would that bother you?
What?
go.
I guess if your significant other if you both auditioned for a show together and one of you was cast and the other wasn't.
Well, yeah, it would piss me off. And I wonder this, and I used to wonder it about you and the other one.
If he was
Okay.
gay.
no.
Okay.
No. I never thought that.
Damn.
Nope, sorry.
Yeah, there's one. Thanks,
Yay.
Laura.
There's always one.
Yeah.
There's always
My
one.
gaydar is super strong. Though,
Yeah,
so.
I feel you.
No, because there's lots of couples in Annapolis who both do theater. and many of them are not evenly talented.
Okay. So
Would you
one
agree?
is more, yeah.
One is substantially more talented than the other. And I always wonder if the one who's more talented recognizes that. And does the one that's less talented recognize that? Because I feel like everybody around them knows.
But they
Okay.
don't.
Almost nobody says anything.
So who's more
out loud.
talented, Jason or Ashley?
See,
I don't know that because
I would-
I've never actually seen Ashley on stage.
That's right.
I've heard her sing. Her voice is like an angel.
and also
angel.
a female and a male voice, you really can't compare them.
Let's have a sing off.
Nope.
Oh,
Sing
no.
off, sing.
I think that now, being much further away from that situation, I think that our skills are stronger in different areas.
Agreed.
So I don't even know that there is comparison to be had there.
I agree with you, and I don't think there is. We are not in competition. Like
Okay, yeah.
Like we are never going to go out for the same roles. We are never going to be cast in the same show. It's in that role or whatever.
Well, right, but it's like who gets cast more? Like who? Like, do you think you would ever wonder, like, oh, are people looking at me like, oh, that villain is so talented, and that one, meh.
All the time.
All the time.
I don't know.
Ba-dum-bum.
See, the way that I view it, and I don't know if you view it differently, Ashley, but I don't. If you wanted to, I don't know. What am I trying to say? Basically, like if I was going to, there are shows that I want to do or wanted to audition for and everything like that, but I also would kind of, because we don't do this for a living. It is purely for fun and purely for artistic expression and everything like that. But I don't think I would ever. I would definitely choose to not be a part of a show if you asked me not to be and all that stuff. But I don't know if
See,
Go
I
ahead.
don't think that would be fair.
it wouldn't be fair. But I
No.
would.
Yeah.
That
But
would
do
be,
you see why maybe it's like going to Hollywood marriages? Why there's so much divorce and stuff? Because
That's a good
imagine
point.
being two superstars and one is always like,
the bigger one?
yeah. Like I think that happened with what's his name? The one who's Chris Pratt. Like his first
yeah,
marriage.
Anna
Because she
Faris,
was
yeah.
more popular. And then he catapulted past her.
Catastrophic.
See, and I feel like in that situation, if there were, and this is not going to be us, but if there were a situation where it was like we were a little bit more well known in that like space, then I would say you just need to. I know that like Brad Paisley and his wife, they were like, we're just going to go to marriage counseling, like from the start.
Yeah.
This is just never going to be.
Because
a
you have to
thing
have
we're
a
gonna
high
deal with.
ego in order to
Yeah.
be in, even get up on stage and do it.
See,
You
I don't
have
think
to-
it's an I don't
well,
think
not
it's
maybe
ego.
not
I think
ego,
it's
but
confidence.
well, yeah, but you
They're-
have to think
they're
highly
similar.
of yourself.
Well, and you have people constantly
Yeah.
telling you that you are the most
Yeah.
amazing thing that's
Right.
ever walked the earth.
right.
So you have to be.
But that's up to interpretation.
Well, right, but you guys, and I think you both. This is not an issue for you. Is that you guys are grounded?
Yeah.
So, even if, someone said, "Oh my God, did you see that cute girl in Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
We need to get her hooked up," and suddenly,
Yeah.
she's taking off. I don't think you would have an issue with
not
it.
at all.
And
I
in
would
fact,
love
if they
to
said,
not work.
"Yeah, you got to quit your job, Jason,"
Yeah.
and,
I'd be fine with
I
that.
think he'd,
I'd be
right?
absolutely fine with it.
That's how I think I feel about it now too, because it was a couple weeks ago where Jason's name was put in the ring for no one knows this,
No one knows it.
for
A
like an
ring.
HBO show.
Whoa. Hello,
And you didn't-
Westworld.
He didn't get it. He didn't get an audition. But
There's two of them.
I even like I'll
They
admit
saw your
this. I was
face.
like, this is my moment where I get to quit my job
That's
and
really
sit by a
premature,
pool with
but-
my kid all day.
But I wasn't even given an audition yet, so.
But I already
Right.
like took
You're
it
already
there.
there, yeah.
But not in the most
It was a pilot. and
kind, wonderful
miniseries.
way.
Yeah.
But I think we now like just love this so much that we want to be involved in like acting or singing or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Like we're making a living. It doesn't matter like how known someone is.
Okay, so what if 3-4 years down the road, Jason gets cast, and you're taking care of the baby while Jason's having theater fun? I mean, that would probably start to poke
Yeah.
at you a little bit,
We
right?
ran into this issue prior to getting married and having a baby, where it just seemed like there was a lot of positive stuff that was happening creatively for me. You know, like she said, I was getting cast,
Oh
and
God.
I was getting cast and getting offers, and then the Watch Awards, and I got 3 nominations, and you know, I got to perform and all that stuff, and she was very supportive. But then there was a couple instances where it sort of, in her situation, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost like shined a spotlight on. It made her feel, it wasn't that she wasn't happy and proud of me, but it made her feel that she wasn't doing enough or wasn't being cast. Am I right in assuming that?
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you're an only child.
Because I think it.
And but I do think that plays a role in it. I think the competition that you speak of, Ashley's never. First of all, let me just say, speaking of Ashley, my wife, she's perfect. I mean, Ashley is smart. She's intelligent. She's hot. She's beautiful. She's supportive.
I'm a heterosexual woman, and I agree with all these things.
Thank you. Like she's wonderful. She's a good person. I mean, she has notes on her phone that says to be a better friend. I mean,
Help her.
Oh my God.
we've got.
Help. Help.
Why are we recording
No, it's right
this?
there. It's right down there.
Oh my God. So for the people at home, while this podcast has been happening,
It's probably
we've
why.
been dealing with a baby in the background, and this baby just. I muted Michelle for a while because she had the baby, and the baby just threw up all over Michelle's face.
The only other person this has happened to is me. Right in the mouth.
Sorry.
It was all
I
in
think
your
it's
eye.
good luck. I think it's good luck.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was unbelievable.
Don't delete that.
Why would I delete it? That is gold.
That was awesome. I'm so sad that this is being recorded video. I took a bunch of pictures, though.
Hold up the mic.
I didn't even say anything. I didn't yell.
Your skin's going to look
Oh
so
my
good
I
now.
feel it in my
I'm-
eye.
Lay off the caffeine.
That was unbelievable.
That was amazing.
Because I just saw
That
it
was
looked like she
awesome.
got shot. She
It,
was just
it
like-
looked inappropriate,
I lifted him
actually. Looked like a completely different kind of video,
Oh my God.
like vegetables
Yes,
and squeeze
yes.
butter.
Do you feel better, Grayson?
Well, I guess when I arrived, the dog jumped on my shirt.
Michelle's gonna have to go home and take a shower.
That was so
Well,
good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I
what was
Anyway.
it?
Good
can't
job,
get much
Greg.
higher
Good
than that.
job.
I know.
He's a good boy. No, don't look at me.
I think that what were we talking about? Wow.
Jealousy.
Jealousy.
Being an only
I don't think you
child.
were jealous. I wouldn't
Competitive.
say you were jealous. I think it made you never had to, so all those wonderful things that you are, and you're not a spoiled person. You're not spoiled, but you've been the center of attention for a lot of people in your life. And now, even like being one of like a big family, which you've always wanted to be a part of, it takes some maneuvering and
my
stuff like that. So, it takes. You're right.
I think
sweetie.
it's in my
I
eye.
have wipes. Do you want some wipe?
It's cloudy.
I have a wipe.
She's losing vision.
No, I think that's well. Yeah.
I'll get you wipes. I'll get you wipes.
I'm gonna have a
Sorry.
patch at Caitlin's wedding next week.
Sorry, everyone. She's gonna have to see. Last time I had to wear a patch.
What?
Because of my allergies.
Oh, that's right.
It takes some maneuvering.
I have baby wipes.
So, but how do you feel? Am I totally talking out of my ass? What do you think?
I think that. I mean, between in that situation, not because you brought up family, being a part of a big family. I don't think any of us are like one another. Like the
Correct.
in-laws, the
No.
tier 2 and the tier 1s.
Thank you, Ashley.
I don't think, but I think that's good. But with like you and I wasn't jealous, but I had always been the best. I don't even know how else to say it.
Wow.
Okay.
If
that's fair.
If that, like, does that make sense? Sort of.
I get it. Well, when you're the only child.
Well, you were the best within your universe.
Right.
You weren't competing.
But I
so-
was like happy for the things that you were accomplishing. But then I wanted to be able to accomplish those things too. And it just wasn't. I remember having people at that time, and we were open in talking about this, but people that we opened up to about that were like, well, Jason is of like a different age.
Yeah.
And a different place in his career, and I was at a
that's
different
true.
place in my like career or whatever I was doing. And so I think that plays into it too. It's not just the whole, there are more opportunities for men in that field than there are for
Right.
women.
Right.
So,
less competition.
right.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Well, and you have much, much less competition, I think, in this community because you can play very specific roles that not a lot of other people can.
the grandfather.
You like to get naked on stage.
And that's a benefit to
He likes to get naked, and the audience enjoys it. See, there are actors.
Not if you're a sister.
Well,
You
maybe
can
not
appreciate
everybody,
it. Yeah, you
but
can
there are
appreciate
actors who are happy to get naked on stage, and everyone else is like,
That's true.
No, thank you.
Uh-oh.
No, oh,
Uh-oh.
no. Yeah,
it. I don't get naked for every show.
just like 2 or 3 in a row.
Everyone I've
Just
been
like
to.
2 or 3. What?
You're either dressed as a woman or you're getting naked.
He
Most
saved
of the
those
shows
for
I've
I
been
you.
in a nightgown a lot. A nightgown or a slip.
You got
like-
naked on stage.
I did get naked on
Yeah,
stage.
you did.
But that was the whole point of the play.
Yeah,
It
right.
wasn't like naked 9.
There was a purpose to that.
There was a good purpose.
There was
We
a
all
purpose.
enjoyed it. Thank you, Shannon, for making sure I looked to the left at the right moment.
Well, we're getting close to an hour, and,
wow.
and the baby's getting
The baby's getting edgy.
cranky.
Yeah,
so
well, he's already puked on his aunt. So
that was incredible.
Attaboy. I also think being a second wife when your parents went through a divorce, and especially if they remarried.
which is also your case.
Yeah,
Your
that's
parents divorced.
interesting.
Yeah. My parents divorced. Both of them remarried. So I knew that, well, my parents, and I'm glad they were married because I wouldn't exist, but
Right.
they were a horrible match. Like,
Yeah.
as I got older and got to know them as people, not just my parents, it was like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
Why did they think that one? I mean, besides they were both really good looking,
Yeah.
and they were both theater people.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, good-looking theater people in New York in the '60s.
Yeah, there you go.
Stupid.
You always need
Stupid.
one ugly one.
Yeah. Well,
See,
I mean,
But I feel like with that, like when you got divorced, that was the
So
first
wrong.
divorce. Like, I guess we had
In
an
our
aunt.
family,
Well, we
yeah.
had an aunt that got divorced.
An
yeah,
aunt.
yeah,
But
one
just one.
aunt.
But
one aunt.
yeah, so I
You have
think
like what, 20?
a lot. Yeah, so I think that was different. Even like the second marriage. Well, I know that same aunt got married again, but
Right. No, and even being the one in the family that got a divorce, it just seemed like, of course, out of everyone,
It was Jason.
I'm the one that gets divorced. Like, that's sort of how my negativity during that time period. That's how I thought.
Jason beats to his own drum.
But then
He
but
beats
then
his
I met
what?
the best woman in the
No,
world. So I beat my drum on stage naked when I'm naked.
that might be it.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
It's a good conversation.
It is a good conversation, and I think it's an important conversation because, when you're called a second anything, it means you're not first, and first has a much more positive feel around it than to say second.
Okay, so let me ask this.
Go.
The first time you had sex, was that the best time you had sex in your whole life?
Well,
There you
I'm a
go.
virgin. How about you, Michelle?
What about
Oh.
I do have a child.
One time. There was that one
That
time.
one
Yeah.
time. That's good though. That's a good analogy.
that? Is a good analogy.
you're
And you know
right.
what? It's just
The first
you're
time you make
different-
bread probably isn't the
Right,
best
not
I mean, it's
good.
not
you
like
ever made.
they
I
were
mean,
both there and you pick this one over that one. It's different
Right.
times
Right.
of your life.
Yeah.
And
also to be said, when I came upon Ashley, I was. If you would have told me that I believed in the institution of marriage, I would entertain what one day I might get married again, but I didn't think it would be as soon as it was in my
Yeah.
journey. But something about her.
It is something about Ashley.
It
and
is
I'll tell you,
Ashley.
like, your friends who gave you real, like,
real advice.
real answers,
Right,
like when you
right.
asked them.
Yeah. Sometimes even when I didn't.
Even when you, like even behind your back, we're like, you know what? I'm good. Like this is good.
That's
Like
right.
nobody, like believe me, if we would have been like, this is not, you shouldn't do
Yeah,
this,
no.
you would have heard it.
Nope. Yeah.
But you also went through like intense storgy therapy
I did.
for like a year.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
I thought you were never coming back. I thought you were
you
gonna
never-
just be a shell of a man.
You really thought that?
You thought he was going to be hoodie boy for the rest of his
He was
life.
in rough
mess
shape.
you
He was
up
in rough
for
shape.
a while.
Yeah.
Like I hope you burn all those hoodies that
He
you
still
wore for
wears
that.
hoodies.
year.
I have my one hoodie.
He's
Well,
like
I
the Unabomber.
After I heard it happen, I thought you were like gonna kill yourself.
yeah.
So
No.
Turns out I was the one that almost killed him.
Well, no, and I think that's the storyline. I mean, you can kind of. I think one of the reasons you probably thought that is something that, I mean, everyone is different, but for me, I had to feel it like a lot. Like I had to feel it, and whenever I was sad, I was sad. Whenever
Right.
I wasn't sad, I wasn't sad. So it was like a roller coaster, like because that's just the only way I can weave my way through life. I can't not feel it.
and you would have done it in such a dramatic way.
Not in Michelle's place, though, right?
No.
You would have like tied cinder blocks.
I
to
think
his
your
feet.
family and
I
probably
would've been
this very
really
small
pissed.
group
Read
of
a
friends
poem.
actually probably single-handedly helped you through that situation.
Oh
Like,
God, it's amazing how well, first of all, my family was extraordinary, and this is my fault because I didn't think they would have been as supportive as they were, and I should have, because they never gave me an inkling why they wouldn't have been, but they were. But so many people, there was a smaller group that did more therapeutic stuff, but so many people in the community were just so generous and kind and outreaching and stepped forward, and it was lovely. It was actually just a very lovely experience to think that people cared enough to do that.
And I have something very important that I need to talk about.
Go ahead, Laura.
And it's actually on topic.
Do it.
I don't think that you would be who you are today if you hadn't have gone through that.
Okay,
And therefore, you may not have been where you needed to be on your journey to be ready for Ashley.
Bingo.
And same with David.
Yeah. Yeah.
David needed to go through some things and realize some things about himself, about the way he is in relationships, all that. If he had not gone through the stuff he went with his last marriage, we probably wouldn't be married. And
Yeah.
in fact, at one point, I remember saying to him, I wish I would have known you when you were younger. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you wouldn't have liked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sucks that we have to go through some of the crappy, horrible things we have to go to get where we end up. But if you don't, you don't.
Yeah, and you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might have an easy life, but then you're going to die a dum-dum and
Yeah.
probably come back and have to do it all over again until you figure it out.
And even the fling that you talk about.
Right.
That fling, you guys as friends didn't judge me on that. You didn't take it very seriously.
We didn't.
But
I mean,
it was
we
just-
didn't judge you on it. We're like, have a good time.
Right.
Have a good time. You know, this isn't like a
yeah,
thing.
this isn't
Like this is
real.
like a
Yeah. Yeah.
placeholder.
Right.
Like a ego boost.
Right.
Enjoy it. It's your trip to not Disney World.
Not to Disney World.
Six
not
Flags.
Disney World.
Six
Six Flags.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say.
Much that level. Six Flags.
Yeah, and I had to
Six
get,
Flags.
but that's the thing. You talk about the journey. If I would have, I'm grateful in the journey where I met Ashley, because if I would have met her first,
Right, yep.
it might have gone very different.
She
Yeah,
would've been
no, I
Six
agree.
Flags.
We were the only judgment was like, just don't, because there was like a split moment where you were like, maybe this is more. We're like, nope, no,
Yeah.
it's not.
You
No,
just
it is
start to
not.
catch
It is
feels of
not.
it.
Yeah, that was on me. I should
No,
have just.
you were
and-
just
and I
That's just
think-
how you are.
Well, it's also
You were
it's-
thirsty.
It started. It started one way,
Yeah.
and I felt that one way. But then, because you don't want to be that person, you allowed certain things to happen, and this other person did too. I don't think they were in love with me or anything like that. So we didn't want to be those people. So we tried to turn it into something it wasn't, and then it got complicated. If it just would have been what it was and just ended, it probably would have ended a lot better.
Not to make this longer, but there is beauty in the relationships where you're not getting married. You know you're not getting married,
Yes.
and they're just they're serving some type of purpose.
Oh, I'm grateful to that person.
yeah.
I'm very grateful to that person.
And I'm not trying to be. That's
She helped me
not.
out.
That's not to say. I don't
bet she
mean
did.
like one night stand is serving a purpose.
Right, of course.
You know
No,
what
I
mean.
get it. I get it.
No, and I think if you didn't do all those, if you
Okay,
were
it's
still
not
married
all.
to your first wife, though, if you were still married, we wouldn't be here. Probably.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have done this podcast.
No, I wouldn't have been allowed.
You would not have been allowed
No.
unless it was the Michelle and Jason and Allie.
Yeah.
Well,
podcast.
Sundays were for resting.
That would have been.
You couldn't leave the
Talking
house
on
on
mic.
Sundays. You had a lot
Okay,
of
that
stuff
was
to do.
not. Well, that's a separate episode.
Okay, you had work the next day.
Exactly.
Gotta be
I gotta
doing
take
my
a shower. I can't leave.
5 o'clock.
I can't leave the house once I take a shower.
It was hot.
Everybody
Okay.
knows that. Anyways.
On that
All right.
Anyways.
On that note.
So we won't be doing one next week because our baby's
Another
sister's
wedding.
getting
Another wedding.
married.
Aw, that's nice.
Then
But we'll
after
be back
that-
the week after for the finale.
season finale.
The,
Dun, dun,
what's
dun.
the infamous?
The infamous Woodstock,
Woodstock.
story.
Story.
I
That's
gotta
right.
figure that out.
Oh, and before we go, can I just give a shout out?
Please.
Your dad actually is very popular in the real estate community.
Oh, really?
My
Yes,
God.
yes,
I can't wait
yes.
to tell him.
Yeah, he's a hit. He's
A
a
big
hit.
Maybe he
head.
should be a real estate agent.
He's a breakout.
No,
no,
God, we have enough.
no, I don't
Oh.
think
He
he'd be
is-
But he should
yeah.
have a regular gig.
a regular
Yes,
gig.
yes.
Oh,
Like
God,
a
look
2-minute
at that.
call-in, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? That's interesting.
Yeah,
he
that's
could
exactly
go over
what
like
he wants to do. Come
Yeah.
over every Sunday.
No,
for
he
5
could
minutes
call
to
in.
talk
He
about
could
it.
call in.
Oh, call in.
Call in. Well, would you like to come back one day, Laura?
I'd love it. It'd be
Love
great.
it.
And now I know where I'm going.
And now you know where
That's
it is.
also good.
And Ashley is doing one of the wonderful things she does. She's being a mother to our child, so she's looking beautiful just staring.
Ashley's the best.
Can't believe you
She's
got
the
thrown
best.
up on.
I got thrown up on. So there you go.
Like
That's a
Add
first.
that in.
incredibly thrown up
So
on.
thank
Incredibly
you all.
thrown up on.
Yeah,
you all
thank you
for
for
listening.
watching.
Thank you, Laura.
Listening.
Thank you, Ashley.
We'll
Thank
catch you
you.
next time.
Adios.
We'll let you know.
Once again, thank you guys for sticking around and listening to this whole podcast. We plan on releasing these on a weekly basis, so please come back. Be sure to follow wherever you are listening. We also have a YouTube channel, The Middle Aging Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at middle_aging. And in the future, there is potential for us to start live streaming these, so we will keep you in touch there. And then if for any other reason you need to contact us, you can reach us at middleaging1@gmail.com. Middleagingpodcast1@gmail.com. Once again, thank you guys, and keep on listening.